I love video games. Taiwan Coolfox is a game that recently got popular online for a bit, and me being classy as always is late to the party. All I really saw were some screenshots of this game, and I decided for myself, sure, I'll have a good waste of time playing this. But I also wanted to give this game a shot for another reason. Game prices and development costs are going dramatically up, and they're becoming not really that affordable. I personally believe game companies should be investing their time into teams that can produce solid, cheaper AA games, while also producing their AAA games on the side. And this game, while it's probably maybe a studio of I think 2 dudes, reminded me of that sentiment, as this looks like one of those low budget games I yearn for. So I made the simple decision to check it out. Come on! Well, that was a mistake. Is Taiwan Coolfox the worst platformer ever made? Let's find out. The people that make this game have a studio or company that they call Lilja Films, and they actually have a Facebook as well, and oh my goodness! I decide to dig deeper, and I actually find that this game dates back to 2014. This has been in the making for 11 years. 11 years, and maybe even longer. They also have a YouTube channel as well with a bunch of animations of characters from Taiwan Coolfox. They made a whole universe on this, which I can actually commend. This takes dedication and passion to do. While visually it obviously doesn't really look that good, the fight choreography here and the camera work in these, along with the animations, is really not that bad. I would even say they're quite good. And years later, they put these talents into making a game. So let's finally jump into the game. We launched the game, and right off the bat I run into an issue. My controller is not supported. You can only play this using an Xbox controller. Steam input also didn't work for me for some reason, so I just used the keyboard, which is honestly a fine choice for this game. It's a pretty simple controlled game. We start a new game and we can pick between 2 characters, Kobang and Shuki. And let's rip this band-aid right off. That is Tails from Sonic the Hedgehog. And this isn't oh, they just used inspiration to make him. No, that's literally him. And I have proof. There is old footage on the dev's channel using an aged up Tails model while testing some prototype he made. While the video is literally called Sonic Tails Run. That is Tails. And then in the next video, it looks more like Kobang, but you can obviously tell he just painted the previous Tails model orange and just ripped one of the tails off. The tail's not even centered. So he is a complete Tails ripoff. But the other character actually seems original, unless she is also a ripoff from a game I haven't played yet. But if not, honestly, her design is pretty fine. Both characters pretty much control the exact same, but they have different special moves. That's the only difference. Kobang's special move makes him jump up and then slam down. And Shuki's special move makes her do a claw dash in a straight line, but other than that, they're pretty much the same. I don't know why I didn't realize this yet. I really don't. But this was made by furries. You could just tell a furry made this game, so if you can't stand furries, this one might not be for you. For me, I don't really care what people do, so I'm still gonna go into this. I obviously picked Kobang for the real experience, and we just get put in the game. That's it. No cutscene or anything, which is very strange to me because on the Steam page, there's a trailer for this game with a cutscene that looks like it would be an intro for this game. Why didn't you use that? Anyway, it's obvious the visuals don't look that good here. It really just looks like they bought the background stuff off the Unity asset store. Anyway, this level is a tutorial level. It shows you the controls outside the starting area, but the controls here are kind of just like they put a bunch of buttons on the screen and expected you to figure out what they do. I mean, it tells you up ahead, but why have this here? You pretty much only have 2 strings of attacks, mashing the punch button or mashing the kick button. You can mix them up by doing something like punch, punch, kick, or punch, kick, 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 but the moves are pretty much the same, not much variation here. I mean, throughout the entire game, all I really did is mash kick most of the time, and then in the bosses, I sometimes threw in a punch there every once in a while. So if there are more combos I don't know about, you don't have to do them. When your blue bar on the top left is full, you can do one of your super moves. As I mentioned earlier, Kobang's special move is he jumps in the air and then does a slam down. As for the movement in this game, it's overall kind of strange, and I never really got used to it. When you move, the character you're playing as starts really slow, and then he immediately goes into a super fast sprint. The pace in which you pick up speed here is really bizarre, though I will say I do like how fast he can run. I hate Sonic the Hedgehog. When you jump, you can't really adjust your momentum in the air, you just kind of go flying, make it annoying to control. There is also wall jumping in this game, but there isn't really a point to it. I mean, it's fun to do, it's a fun addition, but it doesn't really add anything into the core gameplay. You'll just be walking up to a wall, you need a wall jump, and then you'll just wall jump over it. It doesn't really add anything. You can also dodge with the press of a button, which will be useful later. But that's pretty much the controls. It's very simple. After we figure out the controls, we walk on ahead and get to level 1. Now, to my surprise, the soundtrack for this game is actually good. It's actually really, really good. Take a listen to one of them right now. There's actually something interesting about this soundtrack I just played. The funny thing is, this was also in the video the dev uploaded years ago. This soundtrack has been waiting to be used for years. Anyway, level 1 is extremely simple. Honestly, every level in this game is extremely simple. You just move forward in a straight line to the right to beat the level. Of course, this game has its fair share of enemies, but they're not really that difficult in the slightest. You can just move to the right and mash one of the attack buttons and just keep walking in a straight line like kind of a meat grinder. The enemies in this level are really only these chimps, and they honestly don't actually look that bad in my opinion, design-wise and animation-wise. Obviously the graphics could be something to be desired, but overall the designs are actually okay. In fact, in my opinion, most of the designs in this game are actually really good. I don't really mind the designs of the characters in this game. The characters in this game are honestly the only thing that gives this game its own unique style, which is honestly really impressive to me. This of course doesn't include the main character's design, obviously. I mean, that's just Tails. And there's also one more type of enemy we'll be talking about later that's also not really good. It involves racism. Overall, I actually do like a majority of the designs in this. As I said before though, this level is very simple, so we just run to the right while mashing attack and we find a boss. Most bosses in this game you need to find the mechanic to deal damage to them. Others you just need to dodge until you find an opening, but this boss you just jump over and hit him a bunch. He is very easy. On to the next level. Level 2 is a cave with new enemies, hyenas, at least I think these are, and bats. I believe these bats are the only new type of enemy we'll be seeing in this game where they're flying and not grounded. I also like this tech I accidentally did here with this bat. But really, this level's the exact same as the last one. Again, you just mash attack and move to the right. There's nothing really special about the two levels here. We get to the boss, which is a bear. Now, I want to get into the animation I mentioned before as well here. I think this game has great animations. Look closely at the intro of this bear boss. He is very bouncy and very lively here. Him attacking you also is animated quite well. In fact, the character you play as also has really good animations as well. When you attack with your fists or your feet, the limb gets bigger for a second. This is useful and signifies impact to the player. It makes the player feel way better when you're attacking the enemy. It feels like it hurts, which is very important in action games. One more thing, look at the audience here. Look at how lively they are. Yeah, I know they're using the same animation for all of them, but modern AAA devs have used JPEGs in the past for their audience before. They put more effort into this when they didn't need to. This is what I mean by the characters carry the style of this game. It feels like they put in a lot of charm to the characters that they made this world of over 10 years, and it shows. So I really don't know why they didn't just make an original character instead of just grown-up Tails. For the boss itself, you just have to dodge and hit him until he dies. Very simple. Though I did forget the dodge button existed because I didn't need to use it before up until this point. You do need to dodge him here. Jumping over him will not work. When you beat any boss in this game, the music just stops and everything goes silent, which is kind of ominous, especially here where the audience just kind of blank stares at you. Level 3, and again, there's no surprise here. Same thing. Run to the right. This level is a snow-themed level, and it features enemies like polar bears and walruses, which I appreciate. Honestly, I really admire the fact that this game has new enemies depending on which theme you are playing on. Even if most of them are pretty much kind of the same mechanic-wise, you just hit them until they're dead, it's still neat that they did this. The polar bears in this level actually block you sometimes though, so you do have to wait for their guard to go down and then hit them, but other than that, it's still pretty simple. This level has a new mechanic too, believe it or not. There are these egg-loos that spawn enemies, but you need to take them out. This kind of just feels like a time waster rather than being a fun and engaging mechanic, but I admire the attempt here. These things just have a lot of health. It really just does feel like a waste of time. Though this level does have, in my opinion, one of the biggest gameplay faults of this game. It is a platformer. Dear God. So far, when this game is an action game, I mean, it's decent, it's okay, it's nothing to write home about, it's a good time waster. But when it tries to be a platformer, it is downright horrible. It doesn't happen that often, but there are points in this game where you need to jump from platform to platform and to make precision jumps, or you fall into an instant death pit. The movement in this game is not built for platformers. It is not good for platformers. The main character is way too slidey, and the speed of him fluctuates all over the place. In precise platformers, air movement is essential, but there is none in this game. But like I said, it doesn't happen that often in this game, and this level was where really you see most of it happen. After that, we get to the end and we fight a boss, which is a reindeer. Again, I like his animation here, but the boss is very easy. Just dodge him and hit him again like the other bosses. But this boss arena has something that captured my interest. This mirror actually works like a mirror. You can see the characters in it. Most AAA games just give you a broken mirror or some stupid thing. Anyway, the boss is down and we move on to level 4 and oh my god. Oh my god. Are you fucking kidding me? I don't even know where to start. This level is a suburban jungle, which is actually a really cool idea. There's a lot of stuff based off black culture here, which is awesome if you want to represent. But you do not make the characters based off black culture giant-lipped apes. Are you out of your mind? You even gave them popular haircuts based off popular hairstyles in the black community. The devs have actually responded to this in the Steam reviews, saying that they didn't intend for this to be racist. And as always, I'm going to try my best to be as fair as possible here. The devs are based out of Taiwan. They may not understand these issues as much compared to someone in the US, for example. However, there are just so many stereotypes here that it's kind of hard to see this as an accident. The idea here is that they're obviously supposed to be gangsters in a suburban area, which again is a cool idea. The theming of this stage is awesome. Maybe I'm just reaching for this one, but take a look at this. There is graffiti filled everywhere with the stage with two slogans. One that says, "We are not monkeys," which sounds like they're protesting something, and the other one that says, "Ape gangs," or ape gang. Now let's take a closer look at ape gangs. Now maybe I'm crazy, but let's move this wording around. If you put one fucking letter here, it turns into something horrible. The monkeys themselves, like I said, look like gang members and have hairstyles that are popular in the black community. But I want you to take notice to this monkey right here. This green and yellow armband. There are two things I can relate this to. The red, green, and yellow coloring could mean something like reggae music, or this could also be green, yellow, and black, which is the Jamaican flag's colors. One is a music genre that was created in Jamaica, and the other literally is just Jamaica, a place on Earth with a majority black population. I'm sorry, but at this point, it cannot be a coincidence. There's just so much here that really makes me feel like this is intentional. But there is one more big one. The boss here is a giant, massive lipped ape, and you fight him in a fucking basketball court. Anyway, now that all that is out of the way, let's finally talk about the level. Again, you move to the right, but this level does something different for once. Sometimes you move to the left and then back to the right. This is really just the same as the other levels, though I do randomly get stuck in a staircase here, which isn't fun. Also, for some reason, you randomly dive into a church in this level. Why? This is out of place. The boss here, this fucking image aside, is actually kind of fun. You can't just dodge and hit the boss like the others. If you try, he will do an AoE. I actually die here a lot. The boss doesn't have very many openings. You can normally hit a boss after they do an attack, but all his attacks give him distance. I do the best plan I can think of and run away. But as I'm doing this, he flies up into the sky and then jumps down later. And I found my answer. I just have to make him keep doing this and you're golden, but sometimes he will stop doing it. So you have to keep constantly dodging the boss to find an opening in his attacks, which have barely little openings. But there are eventually openings in some of them. I was sweating a bit during this boss, dodging and weaving, waiting for him to do his jump. I can't believe I'm saying this, but this boss was actually kind of fun. But why did you make this? On to level 5, which is just a pirate ship with alligator enemies, which again is very basic. There's nothing new here. It is very simple. Again, if you couldn't tell, the game is very repetitive. It doesn't really add that much to keep it spicy. Luckily though, the game is very short. I beat it in about 2 hours. And even though most of the game is the same, because it's short, you don't really get that bored of it. You could even try and do a speed run of this if you want to see if you can beat it under 2 hours and then get a Steam refund. Don't actually do that. We get to the boss and it's just an alligator, which again is very simple. Just dodge his rolling attack, hit him a bunch, and that's it. Very simple. I do want to quickly mention the very little art this game has. The icons for this game, like Kobang up here and the boss's icon we've seen so far, are honestly pretty good pieces of art. They have their charm to them. Level 6 is a lava level. Now this level actually has tougher enemies. It has dogs, which are basic like the rest, you just hit them a bunch, sure, but it also has these cheetahs which fly all over the place and block your stuff. You need to find the right timing to hit them. Honestly, a fun challenge and a good change of pace, though they are pretty much just hit them until they die. This level does have one thing that brings it down for being an action game though. It has a staircase. When you do a full combo against an enemy, they go flying. If they are on the stairs, they go flying all the way down. I will also say this, I do think this is one of the levels that visually doesn't look too terrible. Running on the rooftops here is awesome, and it honestly doesn't really look that bad. But as per every level, take out the enemies, run to the right, and we fight a boss, which is a tiger. Wait a second, that's just Akuma from Street Fighter! This fight is hard, one of the hardest fights so far. There is no one move you need to dodge and then counter and then attack with after. You have to dodge a lot of the different moves, projectiles, flying kicks, air slams. He has a lot of stuff you need to dodge. For pretty much most bosses in this game, if you don't dodge them and just run up to them and hit them 3 times, they will block and sometimes even counter you. So you'll need to find an opening in all his moves and perfect them, or else you'll just get countered. This honestly takes me a lot of tries, but after a while, I finally get him down. This was a very good boss though that tests your skills. But if you play Street Fighter, you can really just tell this is Akuma. The last level is here at last. We actually get a small cutscene here which shows the outside of the castle, which looks pretty cool. The enemies all block a lot here, and there isn't a lot of time from when they let their guard down to when they attack, so timing needs to be perfect. I really do like how all the armored enemies have their armor explode when you beat them. As I said before, the biggest charm of this game is its characters, and it shines at that. This level has a mini boss here, though it's very easy. It's just the first boss. Jump over him when he charges, and then hit him a bunch, rinse and repeat until dead. Once defeated, we move into the castle throne room and walk up to the king through a red carpet, which is honestly a cool set piece, and the king's design here is amazing. I really like the look of him a lot, and I'm gonna be honest here, this part of the game is really good. I really like this fight. There was a lot of charm put into this dude's design, like his metal arm is animated very well. In some of his moves, he'll expand the arm into 4 different pieces to use it as a whip. It's incredible how much charm was put into his design and animations. I also want to bring up the music for this level, because holy shit! Why is the music for this boss so good? I want this game to suck. This is probably the most difficult fight in the game, and it's honestly the most fun and unique one. He has several different attacks he does in phases. He starts by erupting the ground, which you can only dodge by jumping over them. If you get too close to him and stand around, he shoots his chainarm at you, meaning you can only get close when he has an opening. He also teleports all over the place. Once you see him teleport, that's your notification that you need to get ready to dodge, as he's going to try and grab you. Get his health low enough and he starts doing more moves. He will start throwing these electric balls at you, which are annoying to avoid because they lock into you, but detonate after a while. Later on in the fight, he'll be adding more to his attacks. He'll be shooting these electric balls at you while also shooting these dark beams at you. This forces you to dodge twice. And he also stops using his dash grab attack and instead uses this wide area whip chain that ends up in a massive explosion, which deals half your health as damage. There's also one more trick up his sleeve. If you get him low enough, he'll shoot the electric balls at you along with the dark beams. But as you're dodging twice, he will jump in the air, and then after a while, he will come down with a massive AoE beam attack. This will one-shot you, so you do not want to get hit by it, as it is also hard to dodge. But after a lot of attempts, and after my palms are sweating, I finally take him down. Why was that so good? After we beat the final boss, we walk into the back of the throne room, and the trophy is ours. What was the story of this game again? But that's the entire game. So I think it's finally time to ask yourselves, is this the worst platformer ever made? Well, this game is tagged as a platformer on Steam, but the platforming aspects of this game are truly horrible. Movement is weird, jumping is weird, segments where you actually need to platform suck, and there's barely a point to wall jumping. But the action parts of this game, while extremely repetitive and simple, is kind of fun. It feels good to hit enemies in this, which is a great achievement for an action game. This would be one of the worst platformers I've ever played, but it's not just a platformer. It's It's an okay action game mixed with some weird stuff and gameplay that can just go from being okay to just boring. I wouldn't really recommend this game to anyone I know, but there's another reason. I would actually say if this game was $5 and you're bored or crazy, then maybe you can try it if you have nothing better to do with your life. I sure didn't. But that's just the thing. This game isn't $5. This game costed me $32 to play. That's about $25 US. What? You can buy a way better furry action side-scroller, Dust and Elysian Tail, for $15 US, and regularly it goes on sale for $4. I would barely recommend this game for $5, and one of the best furry games ever made goes on sale regularly for $4. Just play that instead. I felt nothing but shame making this video.